So let's continue looking on a proper shape of our particle systems, and we're still on a ribbon, and we're going from fill. Now we're going to look on a line, and you notice when I'm switching, we have new properties come up, a sequence. So we'll look on a sequence in a second. First, let's overview what we have it in our stroke properties. We have it similar as we have it in the fill, and we have it similar in the dot ones. It is stroke opacity, where we can use an image as for our opacity of our stroke. Again, this is not the coloring. Coloring will define in our palette panel with a color gradient or image. This is just to the stroke opacity going. And also under stroke, we have these details. It's how more accurate or precision will be. And as well, we have it mouse pressure. And you can notice here we have it fade. And what fade is happening, it is simulating your pressure with your mouse. So if I click and I drag my image, it will take usually you press and sometimes you do more fade in or fade out on the end, and the pressure it's take how long. So if I set to the 0, it's take the fastest fade in and out, and you can see by the end right here. Or if I take the 10, it will take the longest fade in and out, and you can see how it ends right here. You can see very good the fading on one end versus not fading at all. So this is different with this. If you like the simulation, you can use it this way, or you set. Usually I'll just keep it around 2, 3 for the mouse. Okay, let's remove this one. And before we continue, I want to again create our vector layer right here. You can see it's squiggly line by the eyes, so we know it's vector layer. So we can modify image, and I want to work with some of those properties. So let's go ahead first, and I'm going to draw some lines going over right here, and we'll go click on our edit. So edit vector. At this point, we can modify our vector lines, and as well we can modify our properties so we can see them changing in the real time. Okay, we'll go switch to the sequence. In the sequence, it's allowed us to add images or other elements, and they will change as time going. So right here, for example, we have a sequence opacity, and we can use the opacity, use it by image or influenced by speed. Actually, sorry, it won't be or, it's more and. Use image and you can use it influenced by speed. So let's look first, use it image. This way we can apply kind of texturing to our brushes. So we can go use it image, and again we can select already preloaded from our library, and we'll just select noise right here. Okay, let's go close this one, go back to our brush, and you can see how they already apply to the ends. You know what, let's maybe increase size for our ribbons. Oops, I need to go in edit mode. We'll just add a little bit more lines wide, so we'll just have it a little bit more. And you can see if we come zoom closer right here how this already the texture is applied, opacity texture applied to our brushes. So again, we can modify, you can preload it your own, you can select any other different shapes. Okay, and let's go maybe even use a splat. There you go, it's different effect. Almost you can create look like particles, but it's not truly particle. You will have it for this dotted line, but we can modify shape by using this. And important to understand, influenced by speed, what it does, the faster brush is going, there will be more transparent, and a slower, it's a more opacity applied. Okay, so let's go ahead and select new brush, and we'll just going from very fast and to slow down afterwards. So let's go ahead, we go fast, and we're slowing down right here. Okay, and in this case, so the opacity applied more, and you can see right in this area we have a kind of higher value. Again, this is will influence by the speed. Okay, now let's look on a sequence. So we have a directions, and directions have two options. stroke directions or the profile. And it's the directions. If we're selecting this way, then we can select between shapes that apply horizontally, and profiles, the shapes will apply vertically. However, when we switch this horizontal and vertically, you can see we also have more options. For example, if we're going in profile, which is apply the vertically, so it's going right there, we have it much less properties. So we'll look first on this one. So we have it our profile, and a profile is going from beginning. So imagine when we start brush, right here you can see when we start, it start with a full width and ending with full width. So if we're going to start, okay, let's draw again from middle. So we start to drawing, and you can see how it's going, and it's end up with a soft end. And this is what profile report to us, how it will brush start and end. Of course, if we're going, and let's switch to edit mode, and we'll modify these to profile maybe. The other ones, you can see that our brush will start have those kind of cuts right in this area. You can see how it's cut and going slower, smaller. Okay, so the brush will work with different types. And usually it's again depend what you try to achieve it, but we'll go switch to those connection, and you can see right here very well one brush how it start with small, going to increase and small again, so it's have an ability. Next we have it, of course, the width for our brush profile, so very wide, and you can see again and right here thin as we selected. Okay, and with jagger, so this is add just randomization to different lines, so we can have it quite a bit. The higher number, the more randomizations on the width of these lines will add it. If you want simulate natural strokes with the watercolor and everything, you probably want the width jigger higher. Or if you want more simulating, maybe pen stronger lines, then you want the jigger going down. Okay, we have it one. This is our again profile that going vertically. So let's go switch to our stroke direction, and this is going actually in direction. Okay, let me, oops, we'll put it right in the bottom where it was before. I just want to shrink it a little bit so we have it more proper to see. I'm going to just hide my brushes right there. There you go. So we see all of this in one screen. Okay, and you can see because we're now going in a direction on the brushes, and you can notice how the lines is modified. They don't go straight, they're going a little bit different. Okay, let's preview before in profile, and you can see how the jog is because they're going one directions, and now with the stroke directions. Now we have it way more properties here. We have it lens count, how many lines we wanted, so we can increase amount of them. And again, this is how many lines will go, and the text will apply towards this. Okay, let's reduce so we can preview a little bit better, maybe even less. Similar as before, we have it with for our brushes and with jitter, so we can change this one. But also need to mention a little bit about the jitter. When we're using the jitter for the sequence versus stroke, they apply a little bit different. For the sequence, because each brush, each element, it's a sequence. Each that's element, so it's sequence 1, sequence 2, sequence 3, all the sequence going. In a sequence, jitter will apply not just on horizontal line, it will also change your verticals. And of course, versus strokes, when we're going one big one, that will not modify going in a timeline. It will work a little bit more along the lines. And this is sometimes hard to understand, and it's why I do recommend for you open the manual and a look at manual, because they have very good images and explanations how it's work for the details. And just overall, let me open for you and showing. So we'll go right here. There's a manual, and you can see right here. So we're going, if we you're representing the strokes, and you can see strokes going in directional does not change based on our brush sequence, and this is based on the sequences. Okay, so overall this is the how work. And again, how I said before, repeating myself, but be sure when you open, just open manual, and if you have a question you can type in a search, find answer, and it's one of the better way. It's application well documented, all options and properties there. But I understand sometimes the visual look on tutorials can be work a bit better. At least it's worked better for me. Okay, so let's look on more properties, and you notice right here we have a link, pause, and overall they will says how long the sequence will going. For example, a link will set the length of sequence, how long it will going. So currently it's a medium. If we increase, and you can see as we modifying how much they're changing, so they're going slow, and as we stretching, the length of those is increasing. So this is increasing as well. Link jitter, it's randomization between those elements. So if we take all the way down, there will be very similar link. And if we want the randomization in the link, we can add, and you can see right here we add all these randomizations. Okay, then pause between them. It is set a link pause between strokes in the between stroke sequences inside our line. So again, if we increase, and you can see right here, look on this. This is actually showing very well. You can see right here one stroke, second going. So on this case, we can say how long we want that pause between those sequences. So in this case, we have it about one sequence and second sequence. So we have a two-way pause. So if we're going to remove them, then it will be more smoother going around there. And of course, the pause jitter, it's allowed randomization add between those sequences. So for example, we'll take link, reducing link right there, and we also, maybe making pause even smaller. So right here you can see how many links of those sequences do we have. And again, this is sequence of the line. So you understand this is sequences, they stack together, and we can modify one of them, and also says how they will work together. Okay, next we have a random span, and span is between those sequences. So let's go ahead, increase right here. We'll take pause jitter down, and between the lines as they're going, so we remove the randomness. You can see right here, if you watch carefully, it's randomness between of those lines, so they become more uniform between lines if we split them on vertically as they're going right here. So the randomness between them, it is you know what, let's go do this way. We'll just select this brush so we can preview, actually maybe with the even harder edges. So this way with color gradient. No, let's go back to our original brush for now. Okay, and you can see right there we have it randomness spanning, okay, as we increasing or decreasing. So they have become a little bit more uniform against each other as they're flowing. Okay, and then next we have it variable lines. Instead of more for pressure sensitive, the more variation we add randomizations as it's going. And it's again, it's not necessarily will affect right now, it's work more on a pen pressure sensitive. And aligned waving, so you can see right here when it's enabled, again with pressure, they add this little bit of waviness to the lines, so give it kind of almost noise, as if we stretch, kind of a little bit waved noise to that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look on the dotted line next.